When you first think of osteoporosis, what do you think of? Maybe you're thinking about the bones. Maybe you're thinking about the density of those bones. Maybe you're even thinking about the DEXA scan score and what the heck that means. On another level, you might even be thinking about how your bones might be more susceptible to breaking. But it's important to zoom out and not just think about your bones, because bones only break when they're subjected to a force they can't withstand. And that's usually, in the case of osteoporosis, some kind of trauma, and that trauma is sustained usually from a fall. So when thinking about fracture prevention, it's important not just to think about the density of your bones or just your bones. Osteoporosis is not just a bone problem. My name's Sean Hurlbert. I'm a physical therapist and founder of Lifespan Athlete. I help older adults build strength safely, improve bone health, and stay active as they age. And in this video, I'm going to explain to you why osteoporosis is about much more than bone density, and why exercise plays such an important role. So maybe you found yourself in this situation. You turn 65 as a female, 70 as a male, and you get a referral for a DEXA scan to check your bone density. Maybe you get those results back and it reveals that you have osteopenia or osteoporosis. And then you follow up with your physician and they suggest you get on a medication or start taking some supplements, and they might even recommend that you get more active. Don't get me wrong, addressing bone mineral density absolutely matters, but it's only one small piece in the fracture risk puzzle. The focus on bone density is understandable. I have less dense bones. I'm going to take this medication and these supplements to help make the bones denser. There we go, problem solved. But this view often overlooks some of the actual risks associated with falling and sustaining actual osteoporotic fractures. Making bones denser through medical intervention will certainly reduce the likelihood of sustaining a fracture from a fall. But do you know what would prevent that fracture in the first place? Not falling. So focusing solely on the bone problem does not solve the issue of fixing the person surrounding those bones. For example, if we have two people with identical bone densities and person A is weak, deconditioned, can't walk very fast, can't stand up from a low surface without pushing up with their hands, and we have person B who's fit, active, plays pickleball every day, works out at the gym, who do you think is more likely to fall? And from that fall, who do you think is more likely to sustain a fracture? So this is one of the biggest misconceptions when I coach people who are worried about their osteoporosis diagnosis. We get so caught up and fixated on the bone density that we forget to address the person attached to those bones. So not all exercise is created equally. It turns out that lifting weights or resistance training is uniquely positioned to address both sides of the equation. It not only supports bone health, but it also helps reduce the risk factors associated with falling. So these risk factors include muscle strength and size, balance, mobility, functional ability, posture, and even walking speed. And in case I didn't make myself clear, resistance training is among the most effective exercise strategies shown to support or improve bone health. So while medication might help with bone density, it's going to solve the bone problem. Exercise, and specifically resistance training, is the only strategy that not only improves the bone density, but also reduces the risk of falling by improving strength, improving balance, improving mobility, improving posture, improving walking speed, all of these things. And if we improve those things, we greatly reduce our risk of falling in the first place. So if you have some fear about your diagnosis of osteopenia or osteoporosis, on its own, osteoporosis is not a huge problem. That's just the bone problem. Millions of people walk around with osteoporosis every day and never sustain fractures and never get hurt, and some don't even know that they have osteoporosis. The problem only begins when older folks start falling and sustaining fractures from those falls. Exercise is the only intervention that can improve bone health and lower the risk factors associated with falls, hopefully preventing them from happening in the first place. We'll talk more about those specific exercises, those specific exercise strategies, resistance training, impact training, all of these cool different strategies that are going to help with your bone health and reduce the likelihood of you falling. That's beyond the scope of this video, so make sure you don't miss it by liking this video and subscribing to my channel. Also, let me know in the comments, do you have osteoporosis or osteopenia? Furthermore, do you have any questions that you might want answered in future videos? Let me know down below. Lastly, if you'd like help creating an exercise program that's appropriate for your goals, your bone health history, and your experience level, we offer coaching and exercise programs, and you can find all those by clicking the links in the description below. Or you can just visit lifespanathlete.com.